Hello and welcome to Main Street Matters by Heart on Main Street, the podcast that knows if we want it done, we better do it ourselves. I am your host, Patrick Kaiser, and we are back. I hope you didn't miss me too much during my week off. I feel like I've missed a few weeks recently, but I will try and get back on a regular schedule. Last week, I was at the Total Home and Gift Show in Dallas, Texas, and I was unable to produce an episode while I was there. However, it was such a great week. Thank you all to those who came up and talked to me during the show and told me that they are listeners. I am always extremely humbled by that. I sometimes feel as though I'm talking to a void and no one's ever on the other end. So it was incredibly touching that so many people came up to say hi and tell me that they're listeners and they enjoy the content. And none of you told me that I have a face for podcasting, which was tremendously nice of you. The week in Dallas was fantastic. For those who did not attend the Dallas show, I want to share a little insight into what went on there for Heart on Main Street's end. I have teased this in some previous episodes, but now that the event has passed, I can go into more detail. In April, we pitched an idea that we called Dallas Market Center Has Its Heart on Main Street. I thought that was a pretty clever use of the two names. This pitch involved a few things, with the overall concept being that we want to show love to independent retailers who travel far and wide to come to the show. They are the unsung heroes and economic backbones of their communities and deserve to be celebrated in ways in which they rarely are. One part of this concept is that we would coordinate with different showrooms around DMC to have what we called Love Local celebrations. The long-range view of this is that we'd be starting a tradition called Love Local Day, where showrooms host events to celebrate retailers. So imagine, if you will, entering into the mart, and everywhere you go, there's parties and events and sales promotions and giveaways and snacks and drinks, all for you, celebrating you and letting you know that you are respected and special. For this show season, we got a late jump on it, but we were able to coordinate with 13 different showrooms to have Love Local events. With the first go of things, we couldn't get everyone to do it on one day, so it was actually both on Thursday and Friday that events went on. Showrooms that participated got Heart on Main Street pins with our Shop Local logo on them. I love the design of this logo. I think it's really fun. You can buy some merch with the logo on it through our website. I will put a link in the episode description. And showrooms also got other things to show that they're part of the Main Street movement. This was really fun organizing this and getting the word out about these events. I had multiple other showrooms come up to me throughout the week and express their desire to be a part of it next time too. So hopefully we can keep this tradition alive. But the really cool part of this collaboration with Dallas Market Center was in the lobby. If you are familiar with Dallas Market Center, the main building is really a giant rectangle that has showrooms all along the perimeter in a huge atrium or lobby that's in the middle. In the past, Dallas Market Center has had different things in the lobby, like a stage for speakers or lounges for people to sit in, some tables for products from around the building. However, we pitched the idea of having a mini Main Street as an interactive exhibit in the lobby, complete with products that retailers could find throughout the building, and we pitched the idea kind of late in the game. In April, many of the things are already decided and done for June, so there wasn't really time to execute on the total vision, but DMC knocked it out of the park for the timing that we gave them. They had 4 shops, a boutique, a garden store, a gift store, a furniture and home accent store. It was decorated with elements that you'd find on Main Street, mailboxes and street lamps and fire hydrants and children playing. It was really pretty cool. The larger vision that we pitched really also included making it into a Main Street festival with string lights over top and vendors selling ice cream and drinks and snacks, a road guiding people in from the outside and encircling the lobby fountain. Essentially making this a street festival specifically for retailers who don't often get to participate in their town's festivals because, well, they have a store to run and customers to attend to. So maybe you'll be seeing this in the future. We certainly hope to continue working with Dallas Market Center as they are a tremendous partner and a supporter of Heart on Main Street. Speaking of partners, we are now also able to announce that we are partnering with Nora Fleming on a benefit item, which is so freaking exciting. Nora Fleming has a line of items called Band Together, which are colorful silicone bands that you're able to place on their serving dishes to add an extra flair to your party or get together. Previously, there were 9 colors represented, with each going to different causes. Our purple band is the 10th. There is also a very fun combined logo of Nora Fleming and Heart on Main Street on the packaging, and an explanation of our organization. 100% of the proceeds from the sale of these bands will go to Heart on Main Street. So if you live in an area with purple sports teams, or you just love the color purple like I do, consider either buying them or carrying them in your store. It's a great way to support a cause, if I do say so myself. I was also fortunate enough to be able to record an interview for this podcast while in Dallas. My Main Street Monday last week was at the Bishop Arts District in Dallas, and I interviewed a developer of the area, David Spence, and an owner of 3 retail stores there, Devin Moore. This interview will come in a future episode when we get to the Bishop Arts District, probably in about a month or so. I really thought it was a great interview and gave a whole lot of insight into the development of a community like Bishop Arts District, its evolution as a neighborhood, and why it's a very unique part of Dallas. Lastly, I was also afforded the opportunity to present an award at the Retail Excellence Awards, which is hosted every summer and the past 3 years has been in Dallas. This is a really exciting opportunity to be in front of many people within the industry and represent Heart on Main Street to retailers and vendors from across the country. I presented the Socially Responsible Award, which is near and dear to my heart. This was especially thrilling for me since one of the retailers that I nominated was a finalist. In every community that I go to, I want to learn about the community, about their stores, their events, what the town is doing to support its retailers, but I also want to know what the retailers are doing to support their community. Retailers are such a major part of their community, and while no one expects them to give back, for some it is inherent in their nature to do so. I was able to recognize 3 incredible stores and their contributions that they make to their community with this award. Give in Des Moines, Iowa, Sammy Soap in Kirkwood, Missouri, and Kenneth Ludwig Chicago in, Chicago, Illinois. Reading their stories of why they were nominated and how they make a difference for the people and animals within their neighborhoods was inspiring. All 3 were truly so deserving of this nomination and the award, but there could only be one winner. And the winner was Give in Des Moines, Iowa. They could not be in attendance, but they sent a very touching acceptance speech via video for us to watch. So the week in Dallas was wonderful. So many great things came out of it, and I hope to continue this momentum. I did meet with several retailers who have completely lost their stores or had them severely damaged by a string of recent tornadoes across the Midwest. So we are raising money to help these retailers recover, rebuild, and remain a part of their community. If you are able, please consider donating to Heart on Main Street so we can provide some financial assistance to these stores. You can visit our website, heartonmainstreet.org, to do so. 100% of the donations go to retailers who have been affected by natural disasters. It's a fantastic cause to support. We are also a 501c3, so your donations are tax deductible if that will help sway your heart any. But for today's episode, we are not staying in Dallas. We are headed to the land of Lincoln. In fact, the town of Lincoln, which is named after Lincoln, good old Lincoln, Illinois. This town has a fun history, one I was completely unaware of before I was invited down for a visit. It was indeed named after Abraham Lincoln when he was a lawyer working for the railroad in the area. This is either the 2nd or 3rd town that I visited now that Abraham Lincoln also visited as a lawyer on his law circuit. He is certainly a part of Illinois' history, but to what extent he made an impact on central Illinois and the preservation of his time there is really fascinating. I think many people's knowledge of Lincoln, first and foremost, is as president during our Civil War and the unfortunate end to his tenure. Others are aware of his humble origins, being born in a Kentucky log cabin and living on the Indiana frontier. And then there are the Lincoln-Douglas debates. But the cultural understanding of him as a statesman and then a very successful lawyer is overshadowed by everything that came after that. So when the town of Lincoln was named in 1853, Abe was a former one-term member of the U.S. House of Representatives. He was a lawyer, a member of the Whig Party, and political activist, you would say. Essentially locally famous, but nationally unknown unless you're a real political sicko who follows former one-term reps years after they leave office. Those Lincoln-Douglas debates in his run for Senate, which he would lose, are in the future. Heck, even his joining of the Republican Party was in the future. So why is this town named after him? After a lot of research into this, I can say no one knows. It was decided that there would be a railway stop in this area, so it needed a town to go along with it. Lincoln surveyed the land for the town, so that's a reason, but kind of a strange one. The sheriff of Logan County at the time, Robert Latham, claims that it was his idea, but the daughter of a local cattle raiser, who was nicknamed the Cattle King of the World, which is a pretty awesome nickname, John Gillett, claims that it was her mother's idea, or John Gillett's wife. There's legend around it that also involves Abraham squeezing watermelon juice into the ground to christen the land, and it's also said that he said the name Lincoln really never amounted to much, and so he didn't want the town to be named after him. But long story short, the town is named after Abe. It's actually the very first town in the US to be named Lincoln. Now there's tons of towns named Lincoln, even a state capital named Lincoln. But out of all of those, this was the first. And then if we fast forward about 60 years, Route 66 is planned to run through Lincoln as well. So this brings thousands of tourists to the area, really every year until Route 66's formal closure in the 80s. And still today, thousands of people every year travel historic Route 66, or at least parts of it, and go through Lincoln. I'm not going to go too much into Route 66 in this episode. I spent a good amount of time talking about it when I covered Pontiac, Illinois, which was another stop by Lawyer Lincoln. So if you want, you can go back and listen to that and hear more about the history of Route 66. And you know what? I'm going to add a third major event for the small town of Lincoln. Miss Basketball Illinois 2024, Chloe Froby, I hope I'm saying your name right, is from Lincoln. She led the Rail Splitters to a 38-0 record and the state championship this year. She finished as runner-up for the award in 2023 and then took it home this year. The town was so excited for her and celebrated her. There was pictures of her and banners of her. So way to go, Chloe. We celebrate towns both big and small and also what they celebrate. So in this case, that means you. Today, downtown Lincoln, Illinois is centered around a beautiful domed courthouse with a town square structure. I've spoken many times on my love for town squares. There's just something unifying about everything being centralized, then also creates this natural retail and commercial environment to develop around the square. During my visit, they were renovating the dome and the large clocks that really surrounded the dome. So I was unable to see it in all its glory, but it was still stunning to see. The renovations exposed this gorgeous bronze coating on the dome that shined bright on a really nice sunny day. The clock faces gave this kind of Back to the Future essence where you felt if lightning struck it while you were driving 88 miles an hour that you might find out exactly why the town was named after Abraham Lincoln. But good luck getting back home though. As I mentioned earlier, I was invited to this town by the owner of Small Town Creations, Kathy Williams. She was such a great tour guide during my day and introduced me to the different business owners of the downtown. But one thing I really loved about Kathy and the other business owners was their collaboration. not only in organizing this day for me to visit Lincoln, but their whole demeanor and attitude. Lincoln does not have a formal downtown development association or a merchants group, but they do have each other. There was no one to do things for them, so they decided to take it upon themselves to make sure that they could accomplish what they wanted to. They meet monthly to talk about business, share ideas, plan events for the town, and inter-store collabs. They work together, they plan together, they keep each other in mind when they are thinking about their future businesses and their goals. They know that their success is tied to each other. Having one great business on the square while everyone else is struggling is not good for the area. Having everyone grow and succeed is great for the economic development of the downtown. They didn't wait for an organization to be formed or for approval from the town to form committees to look into how business should be conducted. They are the stakeholders. They decided to do it themselves. It was invigorating to hear them talk about the plans that they had. It's everything that I preach about retailers needing to be involved in organizations so that they can make their voice heard, except here there was no organization, or at least not one that they believed was benefiting them. Everything that they talked about as to why they wanted to work together was exactly what I've been trying to get other communities to realize. You are better together than you are separately. To steal Ashley Alderson of the Boutique Hub's phrase, community over competition. That is the key to success for Main Street areas, and that's what I saw here. With Kathy being the impetus for my visit to Lincoln and the lead behind this grassroots merchant group, we'll begin talking about the retail stores of Lincoln and look at her store first, Small Town Creations. As always, if you want a good visual to see what I'm describing, please check out our Instagram page, which is at Heart on Main Street, and go to our profile to view the highlights. There you will find a whole section on Lincoln and can view images of my visit. So first off, Small Town Creations is an extraordinarily named business. It just speaks to the very nature of locally owned business. It's small town, it's creations. This is broadly a gift store. They feature national brands like Nora Fleming, as well as many locally made items. They also have fresh coffee beans and gourmet foods. The back of the store is really where the creations element comes in. This is essentially two stores in one, with the back being a personalization, customization, embroidery, and trophy shop where they can take really just any item and personalize it to make it your own. The front of the store is more gift and gourmet foods, locally made and one-of-a-kind items, but honestly, describing the items of Small Town Creations completely hides that it is one of the most gorgeous stores I have ever seen. The fixtures, the shelving, the decor of the store are stunning. There's purple and gold floral motifs with pillars and decorative molding along the ceiling. There are touches of uplighting on the pillars to give this illusion of more height within the space. She uses branches with lights as accent pieces all throughout the store, and they're perfect touches to mirror that many wooden decor pieces that you can find within the store. It's a jaw-droppingly beautiful store. So needless to say, I started off my visit to Lincoln with a bang, and really everywhere I went, there were just surprises and great things around the corner. The next store I visited was called The Bee, which was established in 2019, but really got off the ground in 2020. And as we all know, that was a really difficult time to start a small business, especially retail. But Melanie, the owner of The Bee, really made it work. The concept of her store, even before the pandemic, is a place for people to connect and be healed during difficult times. They offer plants, aromatherapy, jewelry, comfortable clothing, and items to wear at home. It was a calm, serene environment that offered a respite from the busy hustle and bustle of everyday life. Melanie is also a therapist, so the store is really almost an extension of her other career. She's able to work with members of her community on finding their inner peace and working through things that they're going through, and she's able to provide the store that has products to supplement her work. With Kathy as my tour guide for Lincoln, I was able to visit many other businesses that I might not have visited if I was left to my own devices. They weren't necessarily independent retail stores, but they were members of this group of businesses all working together to help Lincoln's downtown thrive. I met with the Spirited Republic Brewery, the Top Hat Creamery ice cream store, and Guest House coffee shop. What I loved about all of these businesses is that they made their own products on site. In the facility behind the brewery, you can see where Spirited Republic brewed its own beer. Top Hat Creamery made their own varieties of 16 different ice cream flavors. And while Guest House didn't make their own coffee beans, they don't grow in Illinois, if you didn't know that, they did roast the imported beans and then grind them in the store. Everything was local. There was this special element of being able to serve the community with their own products and their own work. Plus, the meaning behind the names of these establishments really just made them feel so connected to the community. Both Spirited Republic and Top Hat Creamery give nods to Abraham Lincoln. Top Hat Creamery even has a silhouette of Lincoln as its logo and a painting within the store done by a relative of the owner. And Guest House Coffee was inspired by a trip that the owner took where he boarded in a family's guest house and how they made him feel so at home. The concept of Guest House Coffee is to provide its patrons with a home away from home where they can get together with friends and meet and talk and catch up. The coffee shop was set up with comfortable seating and different alcoves for groups to gather and spend time together. I also met with a meat market that had just opened a week before my visit and filled a very needed role within the community. And there was Debbie's Downtown Floral, which inhabited a beautiful old building that almost seemed like it was made to be a florist. They are Lincoln's one-stop shop for high school dances, baby showers, funerals, weddings, and really everything in between. And when I visited, they were gearing up for prom, so the shop was buzzing with excitement and enthusiasm for the event to come. And so even though they weren't able to meet with me because there was so much going on at that time, I really got a sense for its role in the community and how important they were. The last store I visited was Mary Todd's Hallmark. This is a Hallmark Gold Crown store, so it is independently owned. And I actually didn't know it until I had arrived in Lincoln, but this store was not new to me. I interacted with their owner and connected her to one of our friends of Main Street, Amy Meadows of Windows Matter, to help her redesign her window displays, which look amazing, by the way. It was really exciting to see this retailer in real life and be able to experience her store, especially since she was someone that took advantage of our network to find a business to help her out. Our Friends of Main Street network is a network of businesses that work with independent retailers and provide their services specifically for independent retailers to help them grow in different aspects, whether it is window designs or visual merchandising or marketing, social media, a wide variety of different companies that are out there that work with businesses just like yours and specialize in working with businesses like yours. You can find that through our website, heartonmainstreet.org, and I encourage you to check them out if you are looking for something like that. The owner of Mary Todd's Hallmark really clearly learned things from Amy, as the windows were well designed for the spring season with fun touches alluding to the April showers concept like umbrellas and just different fun things. And they were beautiful windows to be able to work with. Huge windows with the original wood display platforms and wood siding and inset doors. So if I had to guess, the space was maybe a pharmacy at one point. It just kind of had that feel to it. The trip to Lincoln was really fantastic. I really did love this town. I was so excited when I was invited there and given a great tour of the town's businesses and met with so many business owners. I love how the community supports them and how they're taking things into their own hands to make sure that this downtown area thrives like they envision. Next week, we are headed west to the land of the Great Divide. We'll be talking about Estes Park, Colorado, and the wonderful retail shops that are fortunate enough to call this area home. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. This episode was written, produced, researched, and edited by me, Patrick Kaiser. Stay safe, shop small, and I will see you all next week.